So remembering our mechanism from Viktor Frankl, that there is stimulus and there's response, and in between there's choice. And that choice first has to have awareness. And then I mentioned there was a secret power inside of awareness we now understand called motivation. Motivation is that energy, that why, that drives us to do what we do. We have an anxiety habit loop that has a why at the end of it. We get something from that. We don't even know what that why is anymore, although you found out how to explore that and how to change that why. In the spirit of the mind-body connection, we now understand that the motivation is the mysterious power that really moves everything forward. So we've learned about the disruption of the mind-body connection with toxins from Brandon, or maybe hormone imbalance from Josh. We've certainly learned about the reality of the energetics of the mind-body connection from Dr. Matt. And then the very basic idea of food affecting our mood, or as in Ayurvedic medicine they say, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. And now to kind of bring that together around action steps that you can take. I want to lead you through a simple exercise from Dr. Michael Pantalon and his work, Instant Influence, and you've seen that referenced in your slides. It'll take about 5 minutes, although I'm going to lead you through it a little bit faster in this video. Feel free to hit pause along the way if you need to. It's going to be 6 questions in about 7 minutes. One question is going to seem to repeat itself. Ignore that. See if you can simply lean into my guidance. The idea here is to connect you with that sweetest of all moments inside of awareness called your motivation. For example, why you might make an appointment with Ed to talk about food and your mood. Why you might seek out Dr. Matt for some quantum mechanic healing of your being. Or perhaps Josh, or perhaps Brandon, or why you might call your brother and say you're sorry. Or why you might reach out to someone that you've been wanting to reach out to. Anything you've been wanting to do in your life that you know could bring you some good. And here we go. The first thing to ask yourself, and I'm going to use something from my talk as a concrete example to help you. I had suggested that you begin to practice feeling your feelings. Here's my question. If one day you are ever going to make that a rhythm in your life, and you can insert any other idea that you want, but for the purpose of this instruction, if you were ever going to say, you know what, I'm going to get it on my calendar, 5 to 10 minutes a day, every day, I'm going to carve out time to go through the feeling my feeling exercise, not think my feelings, but feel my feelings. Here's the question. Question number 1. Why? Why would you ever be willing to do that? Write down your answer. Why you might be willing. We're not talking about doing it today. This is not persuasion. I am not trying to talk you into it. I'm trying to help you connect with your own motivation to do things that are in your best interest. Why might you be willing one day to make feeling your feelings a part of your everyday life? Question number 2. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not motivated at all, and 10 being as motivated as I can imagine, how motivated are you to start that behavior today? So write down a number between 1 and 10. Here's why I might be willing to do it. Here's what's in it for me. And if I ever chose maybe one day, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm motivated, the number that you chose. Next question. Why didn't you choose a lower number than the one you chose? If you chose 6, why didn't you choose a 5? Write down your answer. Feel free to hit pause. Why didn't you choose a lower number about how motivated you are to make that change? Question number 4. If you could snap your fingers and 6 months from now you had been doing this behavior on a regular basis and it were getting you the thing that you said would be the reason you would do it in the first place, it were actually happening to you on a regular basis in real time, you were getting the goods. Imagine that that were happening to you. Here's the question. Why is that important to you? What do you get out of that, really? What do you get out of that? Not what does she get out of that? Not what do they get out of that? What do you get out of that if it's actually happening to you? Why is that important to you? What do you get out of it is question number 4. Question number 5 that I'm going to ask you 5 times. Why is that outcome important to you? Again, you can hit pause at any point and spend time writing that down. Let me invite you to try to go with what pops up in your gut. Try not to think that too much. Why? Why does that matter to you? What do you get out of that? Second time. And why does that matter to you? Whatever you just came up with, why does that matter to you? Whatever you just came up with, why does that matter to you? And the last time, going really with your gut, the first thing that pops up, why does that matter to you? So studies have shown on about the 5th time, we usually land in some answer that has to do with our relationship with other people, with the benefit for me and for those around me, for the impact and life that it will have. And studies have shown that that is your real motivation. That is why you might actually do something that's in your best interest. Now, knowing that, your last question is simply this. Everything you just went through, what, if anything, you're not committing to it, you're not promising to it, this is not decision-making time, but what if you were going to follow through with that? You now know why you would, what you really get out of it. What, if anything, would be the next step you would take to move in that direction? Go with your gut. First thing that pops up. If one day you were going to, what, if anything, would be the next step you might take to move in that direction? That is the very best version of something called motivational interviewing you're likely to encounter. It comes from decades of research by Dr. Pantalon. That exercise can be applied to the person you meet in the mirror every day about starting that exercise program, buying that boat, proposing marriage, leaving that job, something that you think, I would like to do this, I can't seem to get the traction. You can take yourself through that exercise and connect with your motivation, which is the sweet nugget inside of awareness, which empowers the choice, which gets in the gap between stimulus and response, which causes you to regain the power. And that is the remedy and the antidote to what you're calling your anxiety. You can also use this on the people you live with, and the people you work with, and the people you care about. You got to be a little smooth about it, and you need to introduce it as an exercise that you learned along the way. And if you can build some trust, you can help just about anyone truly connect with their own motivation, and you can stop trying to be a person who tells and sells another person on something, and simply be a person who begins to facilitate helping another person really make a choice that's in their best interest for their own reasons. Go get them.